Hello, my name is Judith Wester, and I am a thanatologist.
Okay.
And what you might say is a thanatologist. Well, it is someone who is an expert in death studies and death education. And a lot of people ask me where I'm from, because my voice is a little bit unusual to the UK. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I came to this country 22 years ago just to study death. Now, the reason I did that is because I actually started off in banking. So, big leap from banking to death education. But what happened in New Orleans in the 1980s and the 1990s was a horrible epidemic called HIV/AIDS. And it affected a lot of people throughout the community. And at that point in time, if you were diagnosed HIV or with full-blown AIDS, it was more or less a death sentence. So I decided to work as a volunteer in an HIV hotline crisis center. And I learned all kinds of things to deliver when you're working in health and social care. You get training, you get specific training to talk to people about their medical care and social care needs. But what I was not expecting is to have all these really quite handsome, beautiful young people come into the center. And they weren't at all interested in their care needs. They weren't at all interested in their medical needs. What they were interested in is they wanted to know, how do I tell my mom I'm gay and I'm HIV? How do I tell my children? How do I tell my boss? How do I talk to my doctor? Because I don't want to die alone. And that really touched my heart. It really moved me, and it shifted me, and it shifted my thinking. Because what I realized, what the real problem was in our society, and especially in New Orleans at that time, was that no one was talking about death, dying, and loss with each other where it counted. Why is it our society couldn't talk about death, dying, and loss? So that brought me to the UK to do some study and some work with a variety of scholars, and eventually that led to me setting up and creating Cedar Education. So Cedar stands for Community Education in Death Awareness and Resources, and the whole purpose of it is to teach people how to talk to each other in healthy and appropriate ways about death, dying, and loss. Death is always going to be a challenge in any society, especially now. And Cedar wants to start a movement where it no longer becomes a challenge, where it becomes an everyday topic. We feel comfortable with it. Parents feel comfortable talking to their children. Teachers feel comfortable talking to students. Doctors feel comfortable talking to their patients. So we wanted to be able to make it normalize it and make it an everyday awareness. So how do we get our audience? Well, death is a hard sell. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to address it. No one wants to come close to it. So we had to start with having little talks, little meetings, being invited for different groups when people found out what it is that I do and what it is that we attempt to do at Cedar. So we didn't initially use social media because we didn't know how to use social media. So we have to be able to introduce it in such a way that is both accessible, but also not a fear factor in any way, shape, or form. Comfortable. So initially it was one-to-one talking. But we think that we've come far enough along now in both our learning, our delivery, and in the information that we can deliver, that we can now move to an avenue such as this video, for example.
What links or contacts or handles do you have that are out there that our audience will be able to click on and see more content from yourselves or go to your website? What's available?
Yes, Cedar is a fully fledged operating organization now, and we have a lot of different activities, venues, and things accessible for people. We have a wonderful resource through our website, which is now undergoing a refresh, and that will be launched at the end of this month. And in connection with that, we have a section called resources. So people can click on resources, and one of the things that people ask us about were books, for example. And we have a list of books that people can refer to, check out at their library, or purchase if they want. And they're just books in general on different types of subject matter with regard to death and loss. The other thing you can get from our website is what classes we're currently teaching and where we're teaching them. So we're going to be running some classes here at the University of Wolverhampton in September on how to talk about death in healthy ways. We also have a class called Understanding Grief, which goes into a lot of different cultural understandings of grief and different ages and what have you. And then we are going to be developing short classes where people can come for just a class that runs, an hour or so.
So Judith, thank you very much for coming on to ClickTime Agency. Your story and your journey is amazing. Can you tell the audience the direct links to your resources and social media so they can find you?
Yes. So our website is www.cedareducation, all one word, .org.uk. Our Facebook is Cedar Education. I believe it's CIC, but if you just Googled Facebook, Cedar Education, we should come up. And we're creating an Instagram account as well.
Okay,
we
amazing.
also have a Twitter, which is @CedarCIC, and that's more or less where we stand at the moment. We haven't ventured beyond those because we're still learning how.
Amazing. I just want to say thank you very much for being here once again. My name's Theodore Huffman. If you haven't yet, guys, please like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Take care.